get things kicked off, we will be joined by Eliza Erickson from Coded by Kids. We have Tempest Carter from the Philadelphia Department of Commerce and Amanda Arroyo from Venture for America. And this talk will be entitled Elevate as an Intrapreneur. So I'm going to welcome you ladies up. And I'll read a little bit of their bios and share a little bit of who each of these lovely women are. So Eliza Erickson is the Vice President of Innovation at Coded by Kids. Eliza, raise your hand. Hey. She is a public policy professional focusing on issues of civic engagement, innovation, strategy, organizational change, and capacity building. Tempest, hey Tempest, is the new Director of Strategic Tech Innovations at the Commerce Department. Her focus has been not only on attracting and retaining technology businesses, but also developing strategies that will ensure a more equitable and inclusive ecosystem. And then last but not least, we have Amanda. Hi, Amanda. I don't know if y'all can see her over here. Amanda is an innovator and strategist. She's currently the Director of Philadelphia at Venture for America. Amanda has over 11 years managing projects large and small, serving both small businesses and government entities. As a recognized leader in social service, Amanda brings her superior knowledge of human behavior and relationship building to all functional areas of sales and business development. Thank you, ladies, for being here, and I'll kick it off to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here to have this conversation. I joined Coded by Kids in January of this year as the VP of Innovation. And prior to that, I wrapped up almost 9 years as the Director of Innovation for the city of Philadelphia. So I've had the privilege of having innovation in my job title 2 times. And it's been a really interesting evolution, I think, of the innovation space, because when I joined the city in 2014, having even a group of people that had innovation in our title was super new. It was really cutting edge. No one knew what it meant. It was just this like super cool buzzword of like, oh, the city is going to start doing things differently because now they have an innovation team. And here we are 12 years later, 10 years later, and innovation is everywhere. So quickly before this panel, I did a little Google search. There are 300 jobs within 100 miles of Philadelphia that have innovation in the title. And if you read the job descriptions for those 300 jobs, which I read like 4 of them, you get things like there's customer service, there's digital transformation, there's technology, there's apps. It means 12 million different things. So the first thing that I always say when I'm talking to people about what it means to be a person who does innovation professionally is to figure out really what you want it to mean to you and what it means to the employer or the person who you are going to do the innovating with. So for me, when I think about innovation, I focus a lot on kind of the people and the process side of it. I think that's where our greatest capacity for change comes in. So that's a lot of what I focused on the city. It's a lot of what I'm focusing on here at Coded by Kids, really kind of how do we deepen and sharpen, I would say, the programming that we're offering. The word of caution, I think on the flip side that I want to say about having innovation in your title is being really cautious and aware of the fact that it does not let the rest of the organization off the hook for being innovative. So when I was at the city, there had to be innovation happening that I was not involved in from a pure like capacity and outcome standpoint. It's the same thing at Coded by Kids. I cannot be the only one who's championing doing things differently because we have so much to do that if everyone else sits back and says, well, Eliza's the VP of innovation, so if she's not coming up with innovative ideas, like, well, then I don't have to do that. Like, none of that is sustainable and none of that drives impact. So being really clear that I think having innovation in your title for sure sends a signal to the rest of an organization that we are investing in this and we care about it, but it's only that person's role, I think, to support and encourage everyone else in their efforts to also be innovative. I could talk a lot more about this, but I'll pass on to the next person.
Thank you, Eliza. All right, our next question. Tempest, this is for you. Government plays a role as we try to grow and support all of the tech talent in the Philadelphia tech ecosystem. How have you tried to innovate in your position?
Great question. I am so interested in figuring out how are we building bridges and how are we breaking down barriers. And that has been the call to action from commerce itself. The old way of doing business just doesn't work. It's not enough to just attract businesses and to try to retain them. The ways in which I innovate within my role is really drawing on my history as a economic development practitioner on the community level. So working with those businesses that were whose lives were changed if they got a $10,000 grant or if they got their first $50,000 loan, right? Working with those businesses and walking the streets with them, you know, in North Philly or on 52nd Street or on 60th Street really prepared me to work and to view innovation and ecosystems from a whole different lens. It has to be holistic. There has to be many folks at the table pouring in to the same cup in order to rise the level, right? Without collective action, there is no real impact. And so the ways in which I seek to be innovative in this role is about developing really strong ecosystems with an eye towards equity. And I mean, even looking at the people that are on this stage with me, everybody here is a partner. And that doesn't happen organically. It happens with intention. It happens when you put your dollars where your mouth is, right? When you are advocating for budgets that make sense to push the aims of equity and inclusion. And it happens over time. So those emails, those talkbacks, those I'll be on this panel for you if you come over to here and do this for me, right? Those things build upon each other to create bridges, and that is where real innovation lies. Thank you.
Thank you, Tempest.
Before the next question, I just want to say thanks to Tempest and the Commerce Department because they have so kindly funded my organization in order to be and diversify these tech talent pipelines and this entrepreneurial ecosystem. So hats off to you, Commerce Department, for making that happen.
Most diverse tech hub. That's
Yes.
right. Hey.
All right, Amanda, a question for you. What is your advice to folks interested in positions that are more innovative, but may not necessarily have an extensive work history in the innovative space?
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, work on your pitch. What is your sell? How are you marketing yourself? And not only that tactical skill set, but how are you elevating yourself and speaking to your inner intrapreneur? So if you don't mind, I'd like to give some context. Venture for America is a 2-year fellowship program, and we recruit, train, and connect recent college graduates to startups. And the goal is really to create a pathway to entrepreneurship. With that being said, in recruitment, I'm looking at critical competencies of intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs. Many college grads don't typically have this extensive work experience. So instead, I'm looking at their resume and looking at things like leadership abilities. Do they have multi-year membership in a student-run organization? Are they a good team player and a participant in something outside of maybe just their college classroom? In further review, I look at applicants' desire to contribute and be a part of a larger community, because a big part of being a successful intrapreneur is your ability to rally troops and to affect change by way of vision, innovation, and mission. With that, I think that many entrepreneurs in particular also have a unique core competency of pro-social behavior and altruism, which can mean in your resume that you have participated as a mentor, you are a volunteer, all of which is really ideal in the candidacy for our fellowship, but also just in your candidacy looking for a job in general. So with that said, I'm skipping ahead, but I just want to make sure that I go ahead and give a quote from Gloria Bell, who is the founder of the Women in Tech Summit. I spoke to her recently, and I asked her for her advice on women that are looking to elevate themselves as entrepreneurs or elevate their inner entrepreneur. And her response was, and I quote, "Pick your head up, keep your eyes open, find that person in your department that you can have a coffee with, and in turn, those conversations can spark that connection and creativity outside of your departmental silos." And then lastly, I'd like to plug on behalf of Venture for America, if any early career professionals are interested, I have a discount code to offer if you are interested in attending the Women in Tech Summit that will happen here April 27th in Philadelphia.
Thank you, Amanda. I have one more open prompt for anyone. What if you want to be innovative, but it's not in your job title, like we'd already discussed? How do you encourage creativity and innovation in your organization? Would anybody like to start?
In particular, Venture for America has accelerator programs, pitch competitions, validation challenges. So certainly things like that within the entrepreneurial space give way to innovation and creativity.
My point of view, becoming a bit data informed, right? Checking out and seeing what's happening in your larger field. Are there new studies that have come out that support an idea or give you a spark of inspiration that you can then take to your senior leadership team to push? You know, I'm very lucky that the Commerce Department is entrepreneurial. Not only do we support entrepreneurs and small businesses, but the culture is entrepreneurial. So we're supported, and if we have an idea, we're able to pitch it, create a budget for it, and maybe get money for it, right? But other folks aren't in spaces that are as welcoming to innovation. The way that you're able to push for those ideas is to make sure that it's backed up by data. Make sure that you have some studies or that you've seen anecdotal evidence or maybe even a peer city or a peer organization that's seeing success in a particular thing, and push for it and say, this is why, hey, can I get on your calendar? Can I speak to you? I have some ideas. And being forward thinking, that shows innovation. That shows that you care about the company, that you care about your end user, or your population that you're targeting. And when you come with facts and data, how can they say no?
So I think the dirty little secret about doing innovation is no one knows what the F it means. It means a million different things in a million different spaces. And at the same time, it means nothing. So I think if you want to be innovative in your space and you don't have innovation in your job title, or you feel like innovation's not baked into what you're doing, at its core, the things that Amanda and Tempest said, it's process improvement, it's relationship building, it's data-driven decision making. It's things that probably are already happening in your organization and might be a part of your job that's just not called innovation. But when we're trying to think innovatively and we're trying to do something new, we're doing all of these things under other titles and under other framings. So I think while innovation sounds really cool and no one is going to be like, I don't want to be innovative, there are so many other ways to drive those agendas forward without using that terminology that I think in some instances can just make things feel even a little bit muddier and a little bit more jargony, and can take away from the changes and the impact that we're actually trying to have.
Thank you, ladies. Can we give them a round of applause? That's it. It went by so fast.
Thank you.